can turn this into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel good.
And welcome to Positively Milwaukee. I'm Vince Vitrano. Carol Meekins is taking some time off. We told you a lot about businesses that have had a tough time during the pandemic, but some have done well, even thrived. Carol shows us now how a family-owned business in Milwaukee is finding a way to give back and help us all get closer to normal.
Sometimes it takes the dreams of a child for life's special moments, like this wedding between a 4-year-old and the Easter Bunny. She's the granddaughter of Jeffrey Hardy Sr. and Brenda Hardy of Milwaukee.
She was able to marry the Easter Bunny. She said she wanted to marry Granddad. She would always say, "Granddad, can we be married?" And Granddad said, "No, I'm married to Nana." She said, "Oh, well, I'll marry the Easter Bunny." So we contacted the Easter Bunny. He brought along a few friends, and we had a ceremony, and she had a bouquet and flowers, and it was an awesome event.
Reception.
Oh, and a reception. She danced with the Easter Bunny.
Family ties like this give us insight as to why the Hardys are a successful husband and wife team. They run their own company. 10 years ago, he came home and suggested they start their own business. And that's how Pest to Rest was born.
In the beginning, I definitely thought he was a bit crazy, asking me to do bugs. It just wasn't anything that was on my radar at the time. Again, I was going into the medical field.
To me, I think business is just, you are a solution to a problem. And if people are willing to pay for that solution, you are in business.
Jeff left a job at MPS and Brenda gave up her plan to work in healthcare, but it's been rewarding.
And at the end of the day, we get a big gratification that we know that we came and helped someone. But the meeting people and the talking with the people and seeing how people are living and seeing what we can do to make their lives better, that's what kind of is a positive part of our pest control business, is we get to do that every day.
A decade later, business is strong. They don't advertise. 99% of the customers are word of mouth.
We stepped out on faith. It was total faith. I tell you, we stepped out, we prayed about it, and we've been walking forward ever since.
The couple travels to jobs all over the state.
I think one of our greatest trips was to Ashland, Wisconsin. We traveled to Ashland, Wisconsin for a bed bug treatment. And we've met some beautiful people. I tell you, we've met some awesome people. We've made great relationships. All of our customers often tell us we feel like we're your only customer. And that's the way we make every customer feel. When you call, I answer. If I miss a call, I return a call. And it's all, customer service. I strive for the best customer service. I want my customers to feel like me, like I am the customer.
During the pandemic, the Hardys pivoted to sanitize office locations, schools, and churches. With COVID-19, there's been a huge demand. Houses of worship get a steep discount because the Hardys want to see people in the pews once again.
We are going to do anything that we can do possible to help churches, to help schools, to help daycare centers, to help school buses. So we just want to see Milwaukee bounce back. Our faith is what wakes us up in the morning, what motivates us during the day, what gets us through hard times, and what without it, I think you really struggle.
They say faith and enjoying each other's company keeps the marriage alive.
It has been a wonderful ride with my friend. I think the most important thing is when people say to us, you guys are like sister and brother. You've been together so long. And I just think because he's a good guy and I like hanging out with him.
Who's boss, first of all?
He's the boss. Well, it depends. Well, where are you talking about? It depends. If you're talking about home, she is the boss. If you're talking about working out in the field, then I would be the boss. So in the house, she's the boss. So we're at home, so she's the boss right now. And I don't have a problem with that.
For those thinking about opening their own business, this advice.
And I tell people that a thought without a date is nothing but wishful thinking. So you have to put a date on so that you have a goal to reach for, an end date. And I just encourage everyone to just try it and to not be afraid to fail, because that's part of the process.
And if you're a couple dreaming of a joint venture,
Try to marry your friend and you'll be together, like the book says, to happily ever after.
I think Mr. Hardy has that business right? Who's the boss? And kudos to the Hardys for being able to pivot and maintain their success during these tough times. The Marcus Performing Arts Center is again bringing audiences back inside its largest venue. COVID shut down live performances for 13 months, but it accelerated a plan to renovate Eline Hall, with the transformation finished just in time. $4 million renovation of Eline Hall now complete.
Because this is not an inexpensive project.
Fine, it's a work in progress.
Hello!
All right, mostly complete. A few finishing touches remain. The 50-plus-year-old venue now looking like new, with improvements patrons have long sought.
Not only center aisles dividing the front orchestra into 3 sections, but also a crossway in the middle of the orchestra section, so people can go from right to left in between without having to cross over people. We also have a center aisle up rear orchestra, which will be new.
New flooring, new carpet, more accessible seating. Plans that were in the works but sped up due to COVID.
If we didn't do this now, it wouldn't have been something we could do 2 years from now, because we're going to need the venue online. We're not going to be able to take the venue offline as we recover from the financial impact that this has had on us being closed for 13 months.
So not something you would have wished for, but a silver lining of the COVID?
Definitely lemonade that we made out of the COVID lemons, yes.
You're not seeing things. Some of the seats are a slightly different shade. No, they didn't take a cut rate on upholstery. It's deliberate. It's supposed to help the performers. When there are empty seats, it makes the house feel more full. Everybody here is hoping it doesn't have to feel full in the fall.
I've said this to you before, Vince, but there's a direct correlation between people getting vaccinated and us being able to bring together large assemblies for shows like Hamilton. A show like Hamilton, we have to have a high capacity. We have to have 80, 90, 100% capacity to make the financials work for that.
Hamilton is scheduled to kick off the Broadway season this October. And there are more changes on the way for the Marcus Center eventually. What's next on that master plan list? What's coming in the near future?
What's next on the campus master plan?
Yeah.
So, I think our first priority, Vince, is going to be recovering from this. So part of it is just getting back into the rhythm.
So I'm like jumping ahead here then, right? Is that a nice way of saying, hey, can we just get somebody back in here first?
Well,
right?
That's kind of the reality. We need to kind of get back in the rhythm of having live shows.
And even more good news, I did ask, the average ticket prices for a Broadway show expected to stay about the same, even with all the improvements to Eline Hall. Well, stick with us after the break. We're going to have a look at a tasty tradition returning to Milwaukee County parks. Well, today is Mother's Day. We certainly didn't want to miss the opportunity to remember some of the most important women in our lives. We asked you, what makes your mom so special?
They dedicate their bodies and then their lives to raising the next generation. And they've got a tough job now because they have to support the family as well as taking care of the children. So hopefully fathers are picking up the slack there.
Just the way she taught us, trained us to respect people, respect ourselves, respect the community.
I would say my mom's great because she has a lot of interesting hobbies, and it's really cool because I get to also experience those hobbies. Like the sourdough bread, kombucha. She makes soap. She's very handy.
The bees.
Oh, the bees. She's a beekeeper.
They are like an angel from God. They're always there. They have no limits. They always, want the best. I'm a mom. So I know my mom, she will do anything for me the same way I do, anything for my kids. Mom are just special.
Just always being there for me, especially, when you need her most. She's always there, and she always has the right words to tell you, when you feel like you can't do anything else.
Everywhere they go, they make that place better.
Yeah.
And we would love to hear from you about what makes your mom so great. Feel free to share your stories and memories on our Positively Milwaukee Facebook group. One of Milwaukee County's most popular summer traditions is back. The beer gardens are opening in our parks all over the area. Seeing all these people at Whitnall Park puts a smile on Scott Fisher's face.
Oh, absolutely. It always has.
He and Gift of Wings have partnered with Milwaukee County Parks on these beer gardens since 2014. Last summer during the pandemic, coming down to have a brew and a burger meant a lot more.
It wasn't sitting at home all of the time. You could come out here with your family. You could be separated from everybody else or with your real close friends, and you could just enjoy the day.
This spring, even the so far brisk temperatures haven't kept people away when the beer gardens reopened. Young, old, 4-footed, 2-footed. Joe Mrzinski is just glad to see people back.
It's a beautiful night. People are out enjoying the parks and really just have embraced the beer gardens.
He hopes these taps will draw as much of a crowd as they did last year. The beer gardens raised nearly $2 million in revenue, which all goes back into the parks.
So things like hiking trails, biking trails, nature areas, botanical gardens, aquatic centers, the playgrounds, everything.
Of course, things are a little different this year. Plan to social distance. Keep an eye out for green bricks so you know your table is clean. Also, don't bring your own beer stein. Reusable cups only.
But we hope after the pandemic's over we can bring the glassware back, but it's just been overall very well received.
Fisher says Whitnall Park Beer Garden is still one of the best places to be in summer.
And to see everybody out here having a good time and enjoying the food and the friendship with everybody, it just has to make you feel good.
Jawohl. If you are a fan of beer gardens and you need a little extra cash too, you could work there. Milwaukee County Parks actually looking for 250 people for seasonal jobs, and we've got a link up for you at tmj4.com. Well, you may not think of rock climbing as an inclusive sport for people with disabilities, but staff at Adventure Rock, they are trying to change that. Delaney Bry brings us the story of two young climbers defying expectations.
All right, let's step into your pants.
Harness,
You're all set.
climbing shoes, rope, and prosthetic legs. When Anna and Ivy Cosgrove go climbing, their equipment is a little different. Their mom, Jennifer, says both were born with congenital limb differences.
There you go.
8-year-old Ivy had a double amputation when she was 2.
Literally 5 weeks after she had that surgery, she was moving around on her first set of prosthetic legs, and she really hasn't slowed down since.
Looking good, looking good.
A couple of years ago, 9-year-old Anna had surgery too.
It turned her foot around, so her foot actually faces backwards, but it preserved 2 of her best joints. And since she's had that surgery, she too has been able to be very, very active.
She's got perseverance that I wish I had.
Their dad, Preston, says he doesn't want to hold the girls back from anything.
We just like to give them opportunities and see where it takes them. From there, they realize that they can do things that they probably thought they couldn't.
If Anna and Ivy ever thought they couldn't do this, it doesn't show.
I like the challenge of it. And I like going to the top and looking down on people.
All right, so same thing as I told Anna. I'm going to let you climb, and then if you need help, I'll help to make sure that your feet aren't going to slip off. That'll be a big one.
The girls aren't alone when they climb. Help is always right next to them.
They find holes and kind of help you boost up and guide.
You got it.
Joe Shakowski helped get the adaptive climbing program started at Adventure Rock. He's helped people with prosthetics like Anna and Ivy, as well as people in wheelchairs for spinal cord injuries. He wants to show that climbing is for everyone.
If you can do these routes and accomplish this, you can accomplish anything in your life.
And when those climbers make it to the top, the whole gym celebrates.
It makes them feel great. It makes them have bragging rights for when they go back to school and say, hey, I climbed and I was out there climbing.
Nice job.
Alley-oop.
Anna and Ivy say they're a little more humble than that.
I don't like red.
Good work, guys.
You ever tried rock climbing? It's really hard. Joe says most of his volunteers are physical therapy students from area colleges and universities. And helping people like Anna and Ivy climb helps them become better therapists. Well, coming up just ahead, a lot of reasons to smile. You won't want to miss this sure sign of spring. A Shorewood native won a prestigious award from the Scripps Howard Foundation, Teacher of the Year. Carol Meekins sat down with UW-Madison journalism professor Kathleen Bartson-Culver.
Professor Culver, congratulations. I think this is so exciting, and we really are very proud to have somebody from Wisconsin recognized by the Scripps Howard Foundation, especially Teacher of the Year. What was your reaction?
Oh, it was a great night. The announcement came out and there was a lot of screaming and jumping up and down in our living room and a lot of hugs. So it was great. I was with my husband and two of our kids at the time. So it was just the perfect setting.
What do you think is going to be the future of journalism, especially considering it's the fourth estate? It is the checks and balances on our government, and we need it. Without it, we won't have a democracy and it will not flourish.
I get very hopeful about the future of journalism when I look out into my classrooms. So, some people are pretty cynical of this generation of young people that all they want to do is Snapchat and TikTok. And that's just not what I see in my classrooms. That's not what I see at all. I see people who really are invested in making their world a better place. They want to see communities thrive, and they want to be a part of that. And so I'm very glasses half full when I think about this generation. They're going to be graduating into a difficult world. There are a lot of conflicts that we face right now and other problems that we face. But I like their mettle. I'm betting on them as being really an important part of how we move forward.
I love to hear the fact that you are positive and you're right in the throes of actually what many people consider a new day, a new generation, and almost a revolution when it comes to journalism, because we have so many different aspects with digital media, with social media, and it's a new world.
It sure is. Things change. I feel like I have been doing this for 20 years and never had a syllabus stay the same from one semester to the next. There's always something new coming at us. But there are also important things that we can't lose sight of that have always been a part of journalistic practice since I rode my dinosaur into the Milwaukee Sentinel newsroom in the 1980s. We have to stay committed to a courageous search for truth, toward being independent, toward being transparent and accountable to the citizens we're supposed to serve, and also to minimize harm.
Well, Professor Kathleen Culver, Teacher of the Year from the Scripps Howard Foundation, congratulations, and thank you for talking to us for Positively Milwaukee.
Thank you so much, Carol. It was delightful to be with you.
And congratulations again to Professor Culver, wishing her and her students the best as they tackle what we know is a tough and important job. Well, a man in Cedarburg has a Brewers memorabilia collection unlike probably a lot of us have ever seen. But James Groh tells us he plans to give it all away.
I am standing in front of the autographed baseball collection to end all autographed baseball collections, and the guy who owns it is donating it to charity.
I don't even know where to start. Some of these are just, they're unreal.
This is Ben Nummerdor from Cedarburg.
I'm a pretty big Brewers fan. I wouldn't say I'm a mega fan, but yeah, I'm a pretty big Brewers fan.
He might be downplaying his fandom a little bit since he has more than 900 Brewers autographed baseballs. One from almost every player who has ever played on the team going back to 1970.
Carlos Lee, everybody loved watching him hit dingers all day long. I started probably about 20 years ago trying to collect the 1982 team. I thought I'd make a nice display piece in one of the rooms I had. And from there, it just got out of control.
From Hank Aaron to Christian Yelich, all the players you've never heard of, and all the team owners. But now, while about 27 players away from completing his ultimate Brewers collection, he's donating all of it to Children's Wisconsin.
this is something that the fans should own. This is something that the city of Milwaukee should be able to get to, and it just shouldn't be sitting in somebody's basement.
It will go into their sports medicine clinic in Greenfield.
The time spent there is usually for, not the greatest reasons. And a lot of people, when they are in that kind of situation, if they could just have a break and get away from it for just a few minutes.
Because for some children at a sports medicine clinic, it could be inspiring to hear stories about local sports heroes. As for its valuation, local memorabilia shop AJ Sports Collectibles estimates it could be worth around $30,000.
How about Ben? I'm a pretty big Brewers fan. Yeah, he told us to build his collection. All he does is reach out to the players. He sends them a ball and then he waits for them to send it back. Says it's a matter of patience and persistence. Well, we're going to go bird watching this morning, looking for smiles with some of Milwaukee's most famous feathered friends. Check out this video of the newborn peregrine falcon chicks. We Energies hopes that you will help name them. You can vote for several options that are designed to honor pandemic heroes like Siren for police officers, Beaker for scientists, and Cargo for postal workers. There are many more, and we've got a link set up for you to vote on our Positively Milwaukee Facebook group.
1, 2, 3. Oh, good boy.
Police canine Bane retired from the St. Francis Police Department last year, but he's still working, wanted to stay active in the community, and here he is visiting 7-year-old Maeve, who has autism. Bane and his handlers say these visits help increase autism awareness and also, as you can see, put a big old smile on Maeve's face. Spring is blooming in our area. Can't miss all of these tulips. This year, Richardson Farm celebrating its first ever tulip festival. There are around 300,000 of them planted, and they don't bloom all at once. The festival is open for the rest of today. I'll be right back with the quote of the week. All that I am or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. This week's quote from President Abraham Lincoln. This Mother's Day, I hope we can all celebrate that message. And as always, stay positively Milwaukee.